Hi friends, and this is our session 2 on our solution on algebra assignment, which had 18 questions. So now we'll do question 11 to 18, right? Question 11 says that if A is less than B is less than C is less than D and A, B, C, D are real numbers, then arrange the following numbers in ascending order. So using A, B, C, D, it has formed following numbers. It says x is equal to a plus b into a plus d, y is equal to a plus c, b plus d, z is equal to a plus d, b plus c. Now the best way to solve this is assume a, b, c, d. A, b, c, d are real, so a, b, c, d can very much be this. A is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 3 and d is equal to 4, and x, y, z would eventually become, so x would become x is equal to a plus b, which means 3 into a plus d, 5, which is 15. Y would be a plus c, which is 4 into b plus d, which is 6, 24, and z is equal to a plus d, which is 4, and b plus c, which is 5. It's b plus c, right, which is 5, and it is equal to 20. So answer should be x, y has to be greatest, right? So which is not here, so maybe choices are wrong, right? So the option the answer should be x less than z less than y, which is not given in our option. So perhaps options are wrong, but it is not dependent on a, b, c, d, because whatever the values of a, b, c, d, if they are real, right, they should even, and if they are 1, 2, 3, 4, which are in ascending order, right, they should satisfy this always, right? So it has to be y, x less than z less than y, so y has to be highest. So I've just changed the option here. You might not get the options in the question sheet, so the question was wrong there, but the answer choice is x is less than z is less than y, right? So this is how you solve it. Just assume certain values to make things easy, otherwise it would become very difficult if you go by these inequalities or these order and try to see what would be x, what would be y, and what would be z according to these, right? So just assume certain values. Now let's go to question 12. System of two linear equation x plus 3y is equal to 12, 5x plus ky is equal to 18 has no solution. No solution means what? The lines are to be parallel, right? So if there are two lines, this is our axis, so two lines are there, they are to be parallel, which means what? Which means if we take 5 common out of it, it should become 3, right? Because they are parallel, so coefficients of x and y are to be same, right, when we simplify it. So coefficient of this would become 5 plus k by 5 y times y should be equal to 18, right? Which means x plus k by 5y should be equal to 18 by 5. We are not bothered by this term because in if they are parallel, these are to be different, so they are different anyways. Now to make the coefficient same, 1 and 1 are same here, and here we have to make this is equal to k by 5. So k by 5 is equal to 3 or k is equal to 15, right? So this is the answer. So without even knowing the basic formulas, which is a1 by a2 should be equal to b1 by b2 should not be equal to c1 by c2, for no solution case we can still solve it if our basics are clear. I am not going to tell you the formulas because formulas are confusing and perhaps you would forget them in final exams. So just clear your basics and see that you can solve it even without formulas, right? So next question says, there are few hens and few rabbits in a farm. If the total number of heads are 30 whereas the total number of legs are 96, then the hens would be, so let the number of hens would be H, rabbits would be R, so H plus R, because the heads, each of them has one head, they are 30 heads. Hens have 2 legs, so it becomes 2H, whereas rabbits have 4 legs, so 4R becomes 96, right? Just reduce it, it becomes H plus 2R is equal to 48. Subtract the equations to get R is equal to 18. When R is 18, H would be, so number of hens would be 12. Very simple question. Just form the equations, just cut the crap which is given here to form the equations and you would be through. That's it. Now let's go to question 14. A man can travel from point A to point B in 5 hours on foot, right? If he takes a cab if he takes a cab for forward journey and walks back, he would take, so the question is wrong. A man can travel from point A to B and back in 5 hours. If he takes cab for forward journey and walks back, he takes a total of 3 hours. How much time does he take to complete this journey? So in 5 hours he go from A to B and come back from B to A. So from A to B he takes 2.5 hours. So for traveling one side on foot he is taking 2.5 hours. It says if he takes cab in forward journey and walks back, so walking back he takes 2.5 hours and therefore, but total he requires 3 hours, which means in cab he is taking only 0.5 hours. So cab is taking 0.5 hours for one direction. How much time does he take to complete the journey if he books a cab for both sides? So for one side it's taking 0.5 hours, for both sides it would take 1 hour. So the question was wrong. So this was my bad. I had not checked the question. The question was wrong. Next question says, ratio of sum of roots of quadratic equation and the product of roots is 5:6. The ratio of the roots would be, let's see, so the sum of the roots is, let's say 5a, right? The product of the roots would be 6a. Can we construct a quadratic equation through it? Yes, we can. It would become x square minus 5ax plus 6a is equal to 0. Can we find roots through this equation, right? If a is equal to 1, we can. If a is equal to 2, roots would be something different, right? If a is equal to 3, roots would be something different. If a is equal to 4, roots would be something different. Would the roots also be in the ratio of a and b? Perhaps they might not. So let's see if we can write it in any form. So can we write it in as a minus, so 2ax minus 3ax plus 6a, right? We might think of writing it as this. So from first x, a is common, it becomes x minus 2a. From this 3a is common, it becomes x minus 2. Can we solve it further? We cannot, right? So perhaps we cannot determine the ratio of the roots. So it has to be cannot be determined, right? Because we cannot find the roots and hence we cannot determine the ratio of the roots. We cannot find the roots even in terms of a, right? Had it been a square, or question had it been a different question, we could have been able to find roots in terms of a, right? Or we could have been able to find the ratio of the roots, but in this case we cannot. So our answer would be cannot be determined. The next question, a very popular question in our class 10 exams, right? The roots of the equations are reciprocal. So if one root is 1, let the two roots be a and a, the other root would be 1 by a, right? Product of the roots would be 1. Sum of the roots is given to be 5 by 2, right? So we have to just see which of these make sum as 5 by 2. So 3 plus 1 by 3, it doesn't make 5 by 2. 4 plus 1 by 4 won't make 5 by 2. 5 plus 1 by 5 won't make 1 by 5. So it has to be option B, 2 and 1 by 2. If you add it, you would get 5 by 2. Just by using options you can very easily do this question. Again, question 17 taken from NCERT book. Sort of NCERT book, not exactly from NCERT book, but this is again a very popular question. A boat goes 30 kilometers upward and 44 kilometers downwards in 10 hours. In 13 hours it goes 40 kilometers upward and 55 kilometers downward. Find the speed of boat in still water, right? So when it goes, so there is, let the speed of boat in still water is equal to x. So there is some speed of stream as well, so you should know that to do this question. Speed of stream, let it be y. So when it is going downwards, these speeds are added. So downward speed would become x plus y, right? And upward speed would become x minus y, right? When the boat is going upwards, it is going against the direction of the stream, so the speed decreases and it becomes x minus y, right? And when it is going downwards, it is going in the direction of stream, so it is x plus y, right? Let it be a and let it be x and y only, right? Let it be x and y for the time being. Now it goes 30 kilometers upstream and 40 kilometers downstream in 10 hours. We know that time is equal to distance upon speed, which means 30 kilometer upon upstream x minus y, right, plus 44 kilometers downstream, which is x plus y, and this is equal to 10 hours. The other equation it says is in 13 hours 40 kilometers downstream, so 40 upon x minus y plus 55 divided by x plus y, right? 55, it's going downstream and it is equal to 13. Now this is in reciprocals x and y. Can we say that 1 upon x minus y is equal to a? Can we reduce it or can we simplify it? Yes, we can. We can just write it as 30 times a plus 44 times b, where we are saying 1 upon x plus y is equal to b is equal to 10, and the second equation would become 40 times a plus 55 times b, and it is equal to 13, right? So this is how we make it simple. Now we find a and b, and through a and b we find x and y. I think you can do it yourself. I don't remember the right answer, I have to solve it, so I'll leave it up to you. It is from these options only, and this is how you approach the question. Okay, so let's go to the last question, which says the ratio of two numbers is 2:3. If 2 is subtracted from the first and 8 from the second, the ratio is reversed. What are the two numbers? So first of all, again we can work through equations or options. I would prefer working through options. The two numbers are in ratio 2:3. So let's check which of them are not in ratio 2:3. All the four, 8:12, 8:12 can be written as 2:3. 4:6 again can be written as 2:3. 12:18 again can be written as 2:3. 24:36 again 2:3. So all four options are valid from first statement. The second statement says if 2 is subtracted from the first, so 8 minus 2, it becomes 6, and 8 is subtracted from the second, so 12 minus 8, 4, so it becomes 6:4, which is 2:3, which is 3:2. So the ratio becomes reversed, which becomes our right answer, right? So this is our right answer. So even without checking the question, other options, we can just go and tick this option because this is giving us the right answer. So this is how you use option to solve the questions in less than 30 seconds and with correct answer and with 100% confidence, right? Just use options wherever possible. Wherever possible, don't start making equations and going into long methods. Algebra is very easy. You can use options in almost all the questions. In almost 90% questions, you can use options to solve it without making equations. I hope that you got the crux of the basic idea of the algebra, how to solve the questions with equations, without equations, with options, without options. You have well understood the basic idea of algebra, and I'm sure now if you tackle any problem of algebra in your final exam or in any other mock exam, you would be able to crack it in least possible time and with 100% accuracy. This is it for session 2. I hope that you understood the basic concept and you are now able to solve it in best possible way. Thanks for watching the video and all the best for your preparation.